Thank you for staying with us here at Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. Our guest today, Senator Dan Duffy, and Jack Roeser, our founder, and myself, we were talking during the break about this local school district bill, pension reform, guised as pension reform. Senator Duffy, what are the implications if part of these pensions go back to local school districts?
Well, I think this is another way to kick the can down the road, because instead of addressing the problem that pensions were $85 billion in debt and unpaid pension liability, now Speaker Madigan is looking for things that he thinks he can pass during an election year. And so by taking some of the burden off the state and put it onto local school districts, of course, could also drastically raise our property taxes.
I heard up to like 25%.
Could. If he does it, it will. Yeah. And here's the thing. You know, these pensions started at the local level. And it was, I think the year was 1998. As the political crap that's been going on with the teachers union started inflating the pensions so much that they couldn't pay them at the local level, so they shoved it up to the state level. And ever since then, they've gone crazy. Madigan takes all this money from the unions, and they've corrupted the whole political process down there with the money that's taken from the teachers themselves in their dues. We thought that was about $50 million a year, but Zettler, who's been writing the great articles for Champion News, Zettler found out there's 15 different organizations that the IEA and its Chicago derivative that are actually doling the money out to Madigan's people. And it isn't 50 million, it's 135 million that they're taking from the teachers and spreading around.
Every year.
Every year.
And that goes to political work.
Only 20% of that is for the job site. The 80% decided by the Beck decision at the Supreme Court level is nothing but politics. The teachers union is the biggest enemy the teachers have got. Their own union has screwed up their pensions. They know, the teachers know, they aren't going to get those pensions they were promised. They're not stupid, but they haven't yet connected it that their stinking union is what has created the worst crisis the state has ever seen. We got 2 crises in Illinois, and everybody really ought to get sober about it. We're the most crooked state, everybody knows that, and we are the most deep in debt, and that's due to the pension crisis. Very little else comes anywhere close to the pension prices.
Now that's passion.
So, well, but you know what? The Chinese symbol for crisis also stands for opportunity. Because through this crisis, there is an opportunity for more people to wake up.
You're an optimist.
I am, eternally. But I do see...
So am I, but we better get started.
But here's what I see. If all of a sudden this pension reform goes through and it starts affecting folks' property taxes at the level that it's going to, that might wake more folks up and start going in with their forks and pitchforks.
Like they say in China, never happen.
It never happened. You don't think so? All of a sudden, we just got property tax increases.
This is just baloney from Madigan down there. He hasn't a chance in the world that he could push that down to the overloaded local taxpayers. That burden was shoved up there before, 10, 12, 14 years ago, and they've been expanding it ever since. It's even worse. You can't handle it at the local level. But why are we even talking about what this man is doing to blow smoke in your eyes?
But
Madigan, listen, Madigan is our enemy. The teachers union is our enemy that gives Madigan the money to dominate that whole legislature. That's what's going on. Wake up.
Yes. But if all of a sudden people get their property tax bills, much like 4 years ago with TARP and TALF and all that stuff, all that's unsubstantiated spending, all of a sudden people it's going to affect them personally, which might make them step out of the box and start holding their schools more accountable.
Absolutely. People, I mean, for things to change in Illinois, people must get engaged.
Yes.
You know, I go around the state right now giving a presentation I call it Springfield 101. And in my Springfield 101 presentation, I talk about behind-the-scene things. I talk about Speaker Mike Madigan and what he's been doing for all these years. And I talk about how a bill is passed or how a bill is stopped, you know, from committee. But I also talk about being engaged. Because until we change, you know, until people start getting active, we're never going to repair our reputation in the nation. And to repair our reputation in the nation, people got to speak up, people got to email, and people got to get engaged. Now, by raising their property taxes,
you're giving a call to arms.
Yeah, but that's also going to be just like raising taxes 67%. You're going to have people that are just going to leave the state. Because now it's becoming, you can't afford the price of the taxes and everything else that we're paying, and now the high gas prices and everything else that they're doing. But here's the main point, is that we got to quit putting Band-Aids on the problem, and we have to solve the problem. You know, the problem is real pension reform.
A lot of the business organizations in the city of Chicago are offering palliatives. They call it pension or education reform. They aren't coming even close to the size of the problem.
Right.
It's a big, deep thing, and we've really got to get busy.
And I can tell you some solutions when we get back, but we have some simple, nothing simple, but we have some solutions we can do to reform pensions and get back in the black.
Well, we need to hear about that when we come back after the break. So we will be talking more about pensions and reform.